One ball to go. Do I toss it up, give myself a chance to get another one, or do I do a job and just fire it in? 2 for 36, walk away.
I think if it was Archer on strike, he might have fancied himself to toss it up and try and buy a wicket with his last one. But a brilliant over, maiden to complete it from Maharaj. 2 for 35, his figures.
Jansen again, and Archer is flipping that down towards fine leg. He's hit it pretty well, but won't go for 4, just come back for a couple. Marco Jansen's been very good today with figures of 3 for 33 from his 6 overs and 1 ball. But Maharaj has been excellent. Flight and Guile backed up brilliantly on this occasion by Jansen in the deep to get rid of Harry Brook. Clever bit of flight and guile to deceive the advancing Livingston. 10 overs, 2 for 35 with 1 maiden bowling straight through. Great control, subtle variations, highly skilled.
It's about the perfect situation for him, wasn't it? Coming on the back of those 3 early wickets in the power play. Pitch just holding for him a fraction, and against the team very low on confidence. And of course he's a beautiful bowler. He exploited that context and those conditions perfectly.
Slowing the pace, or slowing up the pace, then the next challenge is to drop the ball in that good length area, because you can't bowl it short, can't sort of over pitch it. And like Santner, he's pretty good at finding his range when he's slackening the pace. Outstanding stuff. Allows him to pick up wickets as well.
Well, they didn't mark him off the field with a sore hamstring. That's the end of spin in this innings from South Africa. And they're a distance behind the over rate. Won't worry them too much, given that England 162 for 7, but they've been a bit slow. Change of field, third man comes up. And mid-off is now back, mid-on is now back, deep mid-wicket. And a man sort of on the hook, really, with a short, fine leg, which is in Giddy. To bowl that one again.
Chatted to the chap, I'm afraid I don't know his name actually, the very nice chap who seems to be the head groundsman for all the pitches around, and he was telling me that a couple of pitches here in Karachi and one in Lahore have been imported with, or have imported, Australian soil or clay. Am I right in thinking that was something that happened under your watch as chairman, Rambo?
Yes, exactly. So this pitch has a soil of Western Australia, and it took about a year and a half really to firm it up, and so I'm so happy that at least some experimentation has taken place, because we were getting absolutely run down or sort of criticized so heavily by the pundits for producing flat tracks, and I had to think quickly what to do, because I had no idea how the surfaces had become. So much of cricket was played in 2-3 sort of stadiums. That's gone over the keeper's head for 4. He's going at a good pace, Archer. 34, 167 for 6. I had no idea idea how the surfaces have become. So much of cricket was played 2-3 areas.
Hi guys, my name is
Go slow from England in the last 36 deliveries, with just 22 runs coming off this Australian soiled pitch here in Karachi. Last delivery of the previous over, just a little glove that took it over the keeper's head and away for 4 for England and Jofra Archer. All right in saying though, the soil, the clay that they had at the WACA, they sort of found in like a riverbed. Is that the stuff you're talking about importing? I mean, it didn't come in on like a pre-made slab as we associate with drop-in pitches.
No, it's not a drop-in pitch, but just a soil imported from Australia. Took a lot of time getting here, I remember, because we sort of ordered it 6 months into my chairmanship, and so when I was off, it was still hasn't arrived. So it arrived later. So they've got a couple of strips in Lahore and a couple made here, and then they've got one done in Lahore Academy as well. So let's see whether it improves the overall standard of cricket, because as we all know and believe that pitches can contribute a great deal in making of cricketers and players.
Was that more with test match cricket in mind though, or all cricket?
Just to give them variety actually, because there's so much of sameness regarding the square here that, you know, you can sort of be blindfolded yet get 100 on some of these pitches. I mean, they're so easy to bat on. So something for example, high bounce before going to Australia. You have your last few first-class matches on a surface like this to get acclimatized to what will transpire in Australia. Something on those lines, you know, adjust your line and length, how good certain batsmen are against short pitch bowling, for example. It's about playing pace, it's about playing spin also. Spinners also enjoy a bit of bounce, as we all know.
It sounded like it might have hit Jos Buttler on the helmet, or maybe the grill. If it has, we will have to stop for a concussion test. Thankfully he's okay, even though he's grimacing. Maybe it didn't hit him on the head, because I'm not seeing movement from the medical team. Cutter into the pitch. No, I think just glove, bottom hand maybe. Things aren't going Jos Buttler's way. Maybe the toe of the bat actually. Sounded like a good clunk. Imagine his brain might be slightly scrambled at.
Well, I think it has been. Whether the decision that he made yesterday provided him with an immediate relief and release, I should imagine. I know I asked him at the toss about the conflicting emotions he felt this morning when he woke up. Part disappointment and sadness, but also part relief. But I think that relief will come quickly. And then the hope is that he can rediscover his best form, because that, as much as the results in the last couple of years would have been part of the decision, his decline in form, average lower, strike rate lower, just not being the destructive player that we know he can be over the last couple of years. Average 36 as captain, but over the last couple of years that's down to 27, and the strike rate dropping quite significantly.
Good catch, another good catch from South Africa. And it's that man Jansen again. That's his second terrific catch in the outfield. One at long on, that at mid-wicket. Archer trudges off. England 8 down.
Well, it helps when you're 6 foot plenty and they've got long arms. being a big man, he's actually athletic as well. He did well to get down, move smartly to his left. Very different type of a catch from the earlier Skyer he took in the deep, but still a very good one. And Jofra Archer actually looked in pretty good touch with the bat. He's had too much opportunity with the bat in this tournament. 25 from 31, 171 for 8.
Batting at number 10 for England is Adil Rashid, and he's coming in the 35th over. Tells the story, as well as 17148. Ian Mulder taking the wicket of Jofra Archer, who, as Michael said, had looked reasonable, in far too early, as is Adil Rashid, to another excellent outfield catch from Marco Jansen.
It's more like a score on an Australian strip, 171 for 8.
8 for 171 if you're talking about the Australians.
Correct. Great catch this. He had to react very quickly. He's pretty tall. To get low in an instant would have been difficult.
171 for 8. Not a pretty scorecard for England. There was a time when Root and Harry Brook were at the crease that a rebuild job was on, but then Brook was dismissed to an excellent catch off the spin of Maharaj. Root was castled, and it has just stuttered along to the 35th over. Here's Ngidi. Butler still can't find his timing. He's going to try and come back for 2, can't.
Butler's case, would you want time off or would you want to continue to play? I mean, in this scenario where you've been sort of hurt emotionally, what do you want to do?
Well, I think England were thrilled or relieved yesterday that, you know, he absolutely made it plain that he wants to carry on as a white ball player. 50 over and T20 cricket, because as you know these days, when you get to that kind of age, 34, and if you get relieved of the captaincy or step down from the captaincy, the temptation, there are so many temptations now with franchise cricket, and of course he'll continue to play some of that in IPL, SA20, whatever, but he sounded committed to play for England. So the next 50 over World Cup is in 2027. Butler will be 36. He should be young enough, and hopefully, if he can discover his best touch, should be an absolutely key part of England's team in that competition.
Chipped it to mid-off. At no point really had Butler really timed the ball like we know he can, but he's timed that one all right, but he's hit it straight at mid-off, a skimmer. England imploding, 9 down.
I don't know whether it was a slow ball because Ngidi bowls a great slow delivery. A harmless delivery and a very good catch at mid-off. No problem whatsoever. So England continue to disappoint, 9 down. Captain is done for 21 of 43, 173 for 9.
Nine down now. England for 173. Yes, slow. The surface, some difficulty, but not batting their overs. Just hasn't gone according to plan. I suppose, as you look at it, actually, you'd say it's kind of the way the tournament has gone for them, England. Here's Saqib Mahmood.
Before the game, we were reading this as a 300, at least a 300-run pitch, because it has played quite truly. It's just that England's mindset probably is not there. You know, this game is, yes, about technique and also about discipline and how much you want it.
On the other side of that is South Africa, who haven't really been at their best, to be fair, and yet they'll take it. 100 wickets for Lungi Ngidi. So good at the front when he turned up with that new ball. Just provided wickets for his captain all the time. Very potent force. Formed a fantastic partnership with Kagiso Rabada. And then over time, actually, has been a lot of the time off the field, injury, bouts of injury spells that keep him out the team. And in the process, there have been others that have turned up. There you go, there's something he's showing there, which is take the pace off. He's so good at doing that. Changing pace and a whole lot of variation, whether it's up at the front or at the back end of the game. Nicely nudged. A single to end. 174 for 9. Up 43. Jos Buttler. An innings where he scored 20. That's the second lowest strike rate for him in ODIs. It's just not a Buttler innings, is it?
Very unlike Buttler. Somehow he wanted to bat at number 6 for England, and it hasn't really worked, because I think he's a much better top order player who can absolutely take on any world-class bowling, especially in subcontinent conditions. When you talk of change of pace from Ngidi, it's not that he completely brings it down to 0. There is subtle variation from 137 to 132, 135, and that's good enough.
And he will tell us that it is intentional. But over the course of his career, as you watch him, sometimes you just feel it's a case of not quite hitting the action absolutely spot on. He does possess those changes of pace, but the changes you're talking about, which are so subtle and can be deceptive for batters, is where the action doesn't quite, you know, ball doesn't quite come out as optimal, and and he doesn't quite stand up, doesn't quite get through, and so it's 135, 138, 132, and then comes that slower ball which will be in the 120s. And for the limited overs game, it serves him really well. And what he's been able to control is his length and lines and an understanding of what situation requires at the time.
Yeah, difficult to come and bowl in the middle phase of the innings because you've got to be smart. You've got to assess the situation and then you've got to adapt. It's always about what the batsman is trying to do, and you've got to be smarter than him.